Let's go down the mountain, shall we? Saying nothing for an experienced mountaineer like myself. Just slowly make our way down here. Carefully finding our purchase on the crevasses. And boom, look at that. That's how a professional does it, baby. Oh, Fainall's not far behind. I'm impressed. Didn't think he'd be able to keep up. Oh, okay, we got a wolf. Damn it. Oh, we leveled up though. Oh, damn. That's a strong wolf. That wolf had septums on him. Weird. Alright. Let's level up. Give ourselves some stamina. Oh, we can upgrade archery again. Pressing block while aiming will zoom your view, or 10% chance critical hit that does extra damage. Let's do the zoom first. Yeah, I know there's a mage up at the top of this hill here. Wolves. That was a good shot, if I do say so myself. Don't mind me just ripping all the wings off these butterflies. Where'd that fox corpse go? Oh, who are you shooting at? Oh, there's another one? No, don't roll. Okay. It didn't. There was a fox. Where was it? I didn't imagine that. No, there it is. Alright. Let's be careful about this, eh? Nice and easy.
It's nothing.
Goddamn skeletons.
Please. Mercy.
Oh, you healing bitch. Two can play that game. Oh, you hussy. Oh, yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Sweet. Let's go back up there and check out her skeleton minions. Once a day, those under the sign of the ritual can reanimate nearby corpses to fight for them. You may only have one blessing assigned at a time. Yeah, I don't really care for that one all that much. Skeleton. Ancient Nord arrows. There's also a cave under this altar. Under this standing stone. Let's go check that out. Greywinter Watch. I want to save before going in here. I know there's a beastie in here. They ain't too fond of trespassers. Alright, Faendal, you ready to take down a troll? Oh Jesus, there's two trolls? Alright, this might be more difficult than I thought. Oh my god. Yep. Oh my god, I'm dead. Yep. Woo. Yeah, that didn't take long. I didn't realize there was two in here. I thought there was one. Okay, well, first of all, okay, we got one down. Come on, Faendal, shoot him. Shoot him. Yeah! That's what I'm talking about. Hell yes. Cave troll pelt, 4 steel arrows, 5 troll fat. Hey, Faendal. Take some stuff for me.
Behind you. What do you want me to carry?
Ooh, can you take a bunch of my food? That would help relieve some weight. And a bunch of my alchemy stuff too. And You don't need to wear any of this. I'll get you some better armor eventually.
Let's get going then.
Bunch of more mushrooms and a skull. Look at that. Why are some skulls collectible and others aren't? This is so strange to me. Alright. So, some more blisterwort. Steel arrows. Ooh, Froki's bow. That's going to be in our inventory for quite some time, I believe. Regretfully. In this barrel we got some potatoes. Cabbage. Oh, we got a dead bandit. Hello. Black bandana, armors, iron ingot. Elven arrows. Ooh, another dead bandit. Get off that barrel. This is my barrel. Sacks of flour, more blisterwort. It's in the pot. Potato soup. White caps. That's everything up here? Oh, no, there's a knapsack. Ooh, Argonian account, book 1, green apple, potion of minor healing, and quicksilver head chain. Nice. Yeah, I'm just not going to take the common clothes, there's not much point. That stuff sucks. I'm going to leave that book. I don't want to read that shit right now. Can I get up there? Is there a way? It almost looks like you can, but I don't see any discernible pathway up there. Nah. Actually, fuck it. We will read that book right now. Might as well. Vernicus and Borler by Tavi Dromio. One moment. Allow me to clear my throat properly. Halgerd walked into the king's ham that Lordas evening, his face clouded with sadness. While he ordered a mug of grief, his mates Garaz and Ziomara joined him with moderately sincere concern. "What's wrong with you, Halgerd?" asked Ziomara. "You're later than usual, and there's a certain air of tragedy you've dragged in with you. Have you lost money or a nearest and dearest?" "I haven't lost any money," Halgerd grimaced, "but I've just received word from my nephew that my cousin Aliok has died." "Perfectly natural," he says, "just old age. Aliok was 10 years younger than me." "Oh, that's terrible. But it goes to show that it's important to savor all of life's possibilities, because you never know when your time is coming," said Garaz, who had been sitting at the same stool at the Smoky Corner Club for the last several hours. He was not one cursed with self-awareness. "Life's short, all right," agreed Ziomara, "but if you'll pardon a sentimental thought, few of us are aware of the influence we'll have after our deaths. Perhaps there's comfort there. For example, have I told you the story about Vernacus and Borler?" "I don't believe so," said Halgerd. "Vernacus was a Daedra," said Ziomara, throwing a few dribbles of flin on the hearth to cast the proper mood. "And though our tale took place many, many years ago, it would be fair to say that Vernacus still is one. For what, after all, is time to the immortal Daedra?" "Actually," Garaz interrupted, "I understand that the notion of immortality—" "I'm trying to offer a friend an inspirational tale in his hour of need," Ziomara growled. "I don't have all bloody night to tell it, if you don't mind." "You wouldn't have heard of Vernacus," said Ziomara, abandoning the theme of immortality for the time being, for even at the height of his power and fame he was considered feeble by the admittedly high standards of the day. Of course, this lack of respect infuriated him, and his reaction was typical of lesser Daedra. He went on a murderous rampage. Soon word spread through all the villages in the Colovian west of the unholy terror. Whole families had been butchered, castles destroyed, orchards and fields torched and cursed so nothing would ever grow there again. To make things even worse for the villagers, Vernacus began getting visitations from an old rival of his from Oblivion. She was a Daedra seducer named Horavatha, and she delighted in taunting him to see how angry she could make him become. Horavatha. Now, that is a good name. You flooded a village and that's supposed to be impressive, she would sneer. Try collapsing a continent and maybe you'll get a little attention. Vernacus could become pretty angry. He didn't come very close to collapsing the continent of Tamriel, but it wasn't for a lack of trying. A hero was needed to face the mad Daedra, and fortunately one was available. His name was Borler, and it was said that he had been blessed by the goddess Kinnereth. That was the only explanation for his inhuman accuracy with his bow and arrow, for he never missed a target. As a child, he had driven his marksmanship tutors wild with frustration. They would tell him how to plant his feet, how to knock a bolt, the proper grip for the cord, the best method of release. He ignored all the rules, and somehow, every time, the arrow would catch a breath of wind and sail directly to its target. It did not matter if the quarry was moving or still, at very close range or miles away. Whatever he wanted to strike with his arrow would be struck. Borler answered the call when one of the village mayors begged him for help. Unfortunately, he was not as great a horseman as he was an archer. As he rode through the forest toward the mayor's town, a place called Evensaken, Vernacus was already murdering everyone there. Horavatha watched, and stifled back a yawn. Murdering a small-town mayor isn't going to put you in famous company, you know. What you need is a great champion to defeat, someone like Ysgramor or Pelennor Whitestrake, or... She stared at the figure emerging from the forest. That fellow. Who's he? Growled Vernacus between bites of the mayor's quivering body. The greatest archer in Tamriel. He's never missed. Borler had his bow strung and was pointing it at the Daedra. For a moment, Vernacus felt like laughing. The fellow was not even aiming straight, but he had a well-honed sense of self-preservation. There was something about the man's look of confidence that convinced the Daedra that Horavatha wasn't lying. As the bolt left the bow, Vernacus vanquished in the sheet of flame. The arrow impaled the tree. Borler stood and stared. He had missed a target. In Oblivion, Vernacus raged. Fleeing before a mortal man like that, not even the basest scamp would have been so craven. He had exposed himself for the weak, cowardly creature he was. As he considered what steps to take to salvage the situation, he found himself face to knee with the most fearsome of the Daedra princes, Molag Bal. I never thought anything much of you, Vernacus, the giant boomed, but you have more than proven your worth. You have shown the creatures of Mundus that the Daedra are more powerful than the blessings of the gods. The other denizens of Oblivion quickly agreed, as they always did, with the view of Molag Bal. The Daedra are, after all, always very sensitive about their various defeats at the hands of mortal champions. Vernacus was proclaimed the elusive beast, the unpursuable one, he who cannot be touched, the bane of Kinnereth. Shrines devoted to him began to be built in remote corners of Morrowinded Skyrim. Borler, meanwhile, now found flawed, was never again called to rescue a village. He was so heartbroken over his failure to strike his target that he became a hermit, and never restrung his bow again. Some months later he died, unmourned and unremembered. "Is this really the tale you thought would cheer me?" asked Halgard incredulously. "I've heard the King of Worms told more inspirational stories." "Wait," smiled Ziamara, "I'm not finished yet." For a year's time, Vernacus was content to watch his legend grow, and his fledgling worship spread from his home in Oblivion. He was, in addition to being cowardly and inclined towards murderous rages, also a very lazy creature. His worshippers told tales of their master avoiding the bolts of 1,000 archers, of moving through oceans without getting wet, and other feats of avoidance that he would rather not have to demonstrate in person. The real story of his ignominious retreat from Borler was thankfully forgotten. The bad news, when it came, was delivered to him with some relish by Horavatha. He had delighted in her jealousy at his growing reputation, so it was with a cruel smile she told him, "Your shrines are being assaulted." "Who dares?" he roared. "Everyone who passes them in the wilderness feels the need to throw a stone," Horavatha purred. "You can hardly blame them. After all, they represent he who cannot be touched. How could anyone be expected to resist such a target?" Vernacus peered through the veil into the world of Mundus and saw that it was true. One of his shrines in Colovian West Country was surrounded by a large platoon of mercenary soldiers, who delighted in pelting it with rocks. His worshippers huddled inside, praying for a miracle. In an instant he appeared before the mercenaries, and his rage was terrifying to behold. They fled into the woods before he even had a chance to murder one of them. His worshippers threw open the wooden door to their shrine and dropped to their knees in joy and fear. His anger melted. Then a stone struck him. Then another. He turned to face his assailants, but the air was suddenly filled with rocks. Vernacus could not see them, but he heard mercenaries in the woods laugh. It's not even trying to move out of the way. It's impossible not to hit him, guffawed another. With a roar of humiliation, the Daedra bounded into the shrine, chased by the onslaught. One of the stones knocked the door closed behind him, striking him in the back. His face broke, anger and embarrassment disappearing, replaced by pain. He turned, shaking, to his worshippers, who huddled in the shadows of the shrine, their face shattered. "Where did you get the wood to build this shrine?" Vernacus groaned. "Mostly from a copse of trees near the village of Evansaken," his high priest shrugged. Vernacus nodded. He dropped forward, revealing the deep wound in his back. A rusted arrowhead buried in a whorl in the wood of the door had jolted loose in the assault and impaled him. The Daedra vanished in a whirlwind of dust. The shrines were abandoned shortly thereafter, though Vernacus did have a brief resurgence as the patron saint of limitations and impotence before fading from memory altogether. The legend of Boiler himself never became very well known either, but there are still some who tell the tale, like myself. And we have the advantage of knowing what the great archer himself didn't know on his deathbed. His final arrow found its target after all. Well, what a sweet little tale that was. You know, Faendal, you're a lot like Boiler. Your arrow almost never misses. Alright, let's make our way over to Valheim, and then I'm probably going to call it a night for Skyrim. Might go play some more Call of Duty World at War, because I've been doing a playthrough of that game as well. And I'm about halfway through the campaign in that one. And I would like to maybe possibly finish it tonight, if that is at all doable.